Okay, so good afternoon, guys. So for our lesson two, we'll be tackling about the understanding predictive analytics. So this will be our guide to the science that makes customer decisions smarter. Okay, now there are five signs you can benefit from predictive analytics. So first, you need to make fast decisions while weighing many variables. Second, you know more about what your customers have done about what they will do, and there's also a risk associated with poor decisions and a reward for making better ones. Also, you want a consistent decisions process that helps you differentiate customer treatment. And lastly, you use a large number of rules to guide customer decisions. So why do we use predictive analytics in business? This is because making the right business decision, especially when it involves customer behavior, requires the ability to navigate overwhelming complexity. So when considering hundreds or even thousands of factors, in a universe of thousands or millions of customers, people just can't connect the dots to make the ideal decision. So, predictive analytics connects the dots scientifically, guiding each decision to greater success. Okay, so predictive analytics can help you on the following reasons. First, know your customers and act on the insight. So, predictive analytics provide insight on future customer behavior that help you identify the best action to take on every customer or transaction. Second, you have to work smarter and faster by replacing guesswork with science. So, analytics answers complex questions and processes transactions with empirical precision at incredible speeds, often during the live transactions. Third, reduce cost with a clear gauge of risk and uncertainty. Okay, so with analytics insight, businesses can more accurately measure business risk and reduce losses. So this includes losses due to fraud, since predictive analytics can detect the subtlest abnormal patterns in application, purchase, claims, transaction, or network data. Fourth, you have to add consistency to business decisions, improving compliance and customer service. So, predictive analytics operates consistently and dependably, relying on mathematical technique. And lastly, you have to become more competitive. So, the end result of faster, smarter, and more consistent decisions is a more agile business that can respond quickly to market decisions and regulatory changes, improve customer service, and profitably grow into new markets. Okay, so how does predictive analytics differ from data mining and business intelligence? Okay, so sabi dito, data mining explores while predictive analytics answers what next. Okay, so predictive analytics and data mining both apply sophisticated mathematics to data in order to solve business problems. But when people talk about data mining, they are usually referring to a analytic toolset that automatically searches for useful patterns in large data sets. Okay. For the business intelligence, it delivers insight, while predictive analytics, it delivers actions. So by contrast, predictive analytics is an analyst guided, meaning it's not automatic. discipline that uses data patterns to make forward looking predictions or to make complex statements about customers by evaluating multiple data patterns. So, if data mining searches for clues, predictive analytics delivers answers that guides you to a what next action. A predictive analytics can help you identify the best action to take on every customer transaction. So it guides individual customer decisions based on calculations of future customer behavior, and it is often embedded in operational processes, allowing for real time decision making where required. So, how can I improve my marketing decisions using the following? First, we have the data mining. It we can use it by identifying attributes associated with purchase, like for example the gender or the age and etc. And paano natin gagawin yun? How can we do that? We have to run an automated search through historical transaction. Okay, if we use business intelligence, we break out customers by gender and age to see which groups are buying which products. So, paano natin gagawin yan? We have to use a uh, examine cross tabulations using the OLAP or the online analytical processing tool on the historical data warehouse. So predictive analytics, it predicts the future customer lifetime value and response patterns to determine appropriate marketing treatment. And with this, we have to build a statistical model of value using historical purchase and promotional data. Now we have types of predictive analytics. First, we have the predictive model. So the predictive models analyzes past performance to predict how likely a customer is to exhibit a specific behavior in the future. So for example, an attrition model measures the likelihood of a consumer to attract or churn. So this category also encompasses models that detect subtle data patterns to answer questions about customer behavior, such as fraud detection models. So the model analyzes historical and transactional data to isolate patterns, what a fraudulent transaction looks like, what a risky customer look like, what characterizes a customer likely to switch providers. So these analyses weigh the relationship between hundreds of data elements to isolate each customer's risk or potential, which guides the action on that customer. Next, we have the descriptive model. So the descriptive models describe the relationships in data. It describes relationships in data in a way that it is often used to classify customers or prospects into groups. So, for example, a descriptive model may categorize customers into various groups with different buying patterns, and this may be useful in applying marketing strategies or determining price sensitivity. Next, we also have the decision model. So these are generally used offline to develop decision strategies. Okay, so these strategies can be deployed in real time. So for example, a decision model could determine the appropriate number of drug samples to send to each physician that would result in a written prescription. Okay, how does predictive analytics work? So, different types of predictive analytics are applied distinctively in business, and here's how some frequently used models work. So we have the scorecards, predict customer behavior, used to predict customer behavior. These are a popular form of predictive model used in risk assessment and other areas. So a scorecard produces scores that rank order customers according to their likelihood to exhibit a specific behavior from low likelihood to high. In numerical scores, market it is easy to set cutoffs above and below which you take different actions. Okay, so say you run a collection department and you want to make your collection officers collect the maximum amount per hour. So for each account, a collections model could deliver a score that would indicate the relative expected collection amount. So your system send high scoring accounts to your best collectors and sell low scoring accounts to an outside agency. And this sample section of a scorecard shows how points are assigned for different values of a characteristics or a category of information. So it's easy to see how each factor related to an individual's score. Okay, now we also have the neural networks. So um, when your credit card is used for a claim that is processed for payment, for instance, the transaction is probably examined by a neural network model for signs of fraud. So, neural nets or neural networks are good at processing large amounts of transaction data at incredible speeds. So, they are also trained to identify what's known as nonlinear relationships in the data. Okay, say, what if the data relationships are highly complex, but your profitability depends on identifying them quickly and precisely? So, in environments with heavy transaction volume and abnormal data patterns like fraud, neural networks may be the answer. So, the hidden layer is the mathematical core of a neural net. It selects the combinations of inputs, for example, dollar amount or transaction type, that are most predictive of the output. So in this case, likelihood of fraud. So by training on a vast amount of data, the neural net can identify predictive but nonlinear relationships. Okay, next is the clustering. So models use demographic data and other customer information in order to find groups or clusters of customers with similar behavior, attitudes, or interests. Okay, so if you needed to execute a marketing campaign against a universe of customers, for example, one step might be to vary the creative and the offer according to the customer's needs and desires. So, using the clustering model, you could assign each customer to a particular life stage and buying profile. For instance, young urban parents or cautious retirees. You could then build your messaging and product or service terms to appeal to each of these groups. So, clustering can be used as a precursor to predictive modeling. Once clustering identifies the key customer segments, predictive models can help tailor action for each segment. Okay, now how are models developed? So A good analyst will shape the model based on the data and how the model will be used. So in this application scoring example, the analyst has adjusted the score weights for young credit applicants because the lender's youngest customers had been carefully selected and were therefore lower risk than the young population as a whole. So by and large, effective model development requires five key steps. First, we have to define a business problem. Second, we build the development sample with relevant historical data. Third, we analyze the data for predictive patterns and then develop the model, fine tune it, and validate it. Also, deploy the model and validate it in practice. Okay. So, how much data do we need in the predictive analytics or sa pagpe-predict ng a certain situation? Okay, so as a general rule, the more data, the more powerful the model. So with enough data, you can build segmented model systems which use multiple models for different customer segments with different predictive patterns. So depending on available data, business goals, and other considerations, here are some options. First, you have the customer models based on the company's customer data. When you have sufficient historic data, custom models are built specifically to predict how customers will perform for you. So they can incorporate your knowledge of customer patterns or important variables. Second, pool data models. Based on many companies' data, it draws on a wide range of customer experiences in your industry, and as a result, they often identify patterns not yet present in your customer population. And lastly, you have the expert models. It is built judgmentally using analyst expertise. So this model can be built quickly and cost effectively when you don't have enough data. And they are good alternative to custom models when no pooled models are available.